Here's where power comes from. Everything other than a jab, okay, everything other than a jab has weight shift, torque, and rotation before the fist travels anywhere. So here's an example. Brooklyn, hop into your fighting stance. You'll do this with me. Okay, so notice he's in his nice 3-point stance, of course, because you start everything out of this stance. And I don't care how long I'll train him, I'll always be studying this. If this elbow comes off his body a quarter of an inch, I'm going to tell it, okay? Because perfect practice makes perfect, guys. You got to try to practice perfect in order for it to transfer over when you're applying it. So I'm looking for that elbow, that fist against his face. His hands are in fists, okay? There's his 3-point stance. All right, so now, here's where power comes from. Number one, you get rotation. So you have rotational power. That's a law of physics. So we have rotation. We also have weight shift. We shift from one foot to the other foot, so we're now hitting with our body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you shift 150, you're hitting with 150 pounds accurately, adding in the rotational force. Then we add in speed. That's the last thing, and that's the easiest thing to work on because I say just go faster, right? So speed, force is mass times acceleration. So when you put together speed, weight shift, and torque, okay, or rotation, you have power. So we're gonna give you an example of it. Here's how we practice this. Now, along the way we practice, we always break techniques down as far as we can. Then we learn this from Joe Louis, by the way. Then what we do is we perfect each part. Then when you put it back together, the sum of the parts, or adding the parts together, is better than greater than the whole. Okay, so we're doing that. Here's how I'll practice this. I'll have them cross their hands like this. Here we go. Okay, so we're square. So we're in position. It's a chain reaction or a kinetic chain. So we turn the right heel or the rear heel, the rear hip and pocket, and then the rear shoulder, so that the shoulder is against your jaw, okay? Your front shoulder is the only thing you see, because if you have full rotation, the rear shoulder will be directly behind it. And if you had a center line between your feet, your shoulders would be over the line. That's maximum power. Then we come back into our fighting stance. Now, when you're working torque, your feet will work their way apart. So always check your stance. You have to start at perfect stance. So we would turn. Now we shift our weight a little bit to that left heel, the left foot. So there's our weight shift. There's our rotation. And then, of course, whatever punch we were throwing, we'd snap it. So there'd be the straight right. There'd be the right cross. There'd be the overhand right. And there would be the uppercut. So again, everything is out of that gun. That's how you maximize power. Now, here's what a challenge I want to give to the guys watching and our students or our fighters. Great fighters, you rarely see rib cage when they're fighting. I'm going to give you an example. Amateur fighters, you see a ton of rib cage. Street fighting, that's all you see, rib cage. So watch. We're going to take the right hand. Let's do a straight right hand. So first thing we do, we're going to torque, heel, hip, shoulders. We change our hands. Now we snap, and then we return. Full speed, you can't tell the difference of how we're doing it, right? But what we're doing is turning first, shifting our weight, then we snap the shot. So you don't see any rib cage but for a split second. The earlier you let a punch go, the less power it has. So if I let the punch go before I turn, it's ridiculous. If I let the fist go as I turn, you'll see a lot of rib cage. If I let it go on the end of my turn, you see hardly any, and I am much farther through my target. So depth through the target, that also adds to the force of the shot. So that would be everything off of the two gun or the rear gun. The other torque is the left side, front side. We call that the three gun. So cross our arms because we always work torque by itself. So you got your good position. Your rear foot is gonna bite the floor. You're gonna turn your front heel, front pocket, front shoulder. It's against my jaw. And that's gonna end up being one of the 4 points of contact. My weight is shifted back to my right foot, okay? And then I come back. Notice this is a very short movement, okay? Again, that's everything off of the front side. There's the hook, uppercut, got it? Liver shot, everything comes out of the gun, rotation, weight shift, then the snap. That's how you get maximum power in your punching. That is inarguable because it's physics, it's God's laws, not our laws.
So the title of the video, we said we're going to identify the mistakes people are making. Guys, what you understand is if you do this correctly, it eliminates all of those mistakes. So what would your mistakes be for why you're not punching hard? You're flat-footed, so you're not torquing and rotating. You wouldn't have a weight transfer because you're flat-footed and you're not using torque and rotation. You're too tense. You don't have to worry about that because your body has to be loose to make these rotations. So the mistakes that you would typically make are eliminated by understanding the stance, the correct guard, and then how to rotate through that 2 and 3 gun. And we break this down in detail in our training program. But Dave, that's a incredible lesson for anybody of any skill level to improve their powers, what you guys just did.
Oh, it'll double or triple their power. I mean, in one session, we can take a guy who's been punching a little while, okay, slow it down. I call it lag, just like they do when hitting a baseball or a golf ball. You stay connected to your power source. It's not my opinion. If I were teaching baseball, it would be the same thing. As soon as I let my elbows go from my body, I've lost power, right? You want to lag that. Same thing in golf. Okay, so you get your shoulder, hip there, weight shift, then bam, you release the shot. Okay, now people go, oh, this cuts down on telegraphing, which is a mistake people make, right? This cuts down on dropping or pulling back before you punch, correct? This takes all of the gaps away. And as you and I talk, they can find this in great detail in some of our videos, but the gap analysis, right? Taking the gaps away. You and I did that deep dive. We couldn't find one knockout through history that didn't happen when people were given gaps. So they're either dropping it when they throw one punch, leaving a punch out there, too much rib cage, pulling back before they punch, circling the punch so somebody can follow it. There's the gaps. So you want to take away all of the gaps that there are. If you do that, we never saw one person even get their knees buckled, let alone knocked out.
All right, guys, to make this easier for you, we put together a free striking technique cheat sheet. It walks you through fundamentals so that you are drilling smarter and working on your basics. And when you're ready to take that further, of course, you can join us inside of Fighters College, where we have a complete blueprint from the ground up on all your footwork, all of your punches, weight shift, power, drills, combinations. So the goal of our program is to teach you first your fundamentals. Then if you're in our program, we can provide feedback on those fundamentals until you get them correct. And then we want to go straight into flowing, and that's flowing your punches, combinations, head movement, everything into fight-ready combinations that you can use for shadowboxing, bag work, pad work, partner drills, and of course, they relate immediately to sparring. So your homework from us today is to download your free cheat sheet first. Watch the next video in the series, because what we're going to be doing is covering the basics of footwork. And then you can take that guard and that position, and now you know how to rotate your body. Now we're going to teach you how to move in space. So thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.